Elvis video.
Man, I tell you,
I cracked up when
you would
I
not
got that from
believe-
Thomas.
Huh?
I believe all the people who
You need to
responded to that.
Come over a little bit, Thomas.
Really?
Yeah, it was
The
amazing.
the Elvis thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had gotten that and sent it to Jimmy, and he says, "Oh no, we can't post that. It's just too sad."
I didn't say
Oh.
that.
What did you say?
You didn't think it was.
I said I found it very disquieting.
Yeah, no kidding. No
It-
kidding.
It was very disquieting, but you know,
Yeah.
I had no idea that his voice sounded like that because I just didn't like him, you know, so I just rarely
Yeah.
ever listened. But
Right.
oh my gosh, the fragileness of him and
Oh,
looking
geez,
like
yeah.
looking like a child to the side to get validation from
Yeah.
the people who knew he was so damn sick. Like I just oof, it was hard to watch. It was
Yeah.
I got it.
Very disquieting, Suze.
disquieting, yes.
Yeah.
Very disquieting.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jimmy.
I got in a little late. Who are you talking about?
Elvis.
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 Problem. I got in late, but I figured Bruce Willis.
No,
Yeah.
it was Elvis.
Look at this. Rick Putoff made it.
How
Can you
about that?
speak to us, Rick?
Oh, yeah,
Hey, he's
You look like you're in a
speaking.
cell.
We can hear him
I am.
and
You
we can
are.
see him and he can see us. And do
How
you
about that?
have gallery view?
Hi, everybody.
Do
Hi.
you
Hi.
have gallery view, Rick?
I have gallery view. I see.
Only took 2 hours.
All right. If we would have just called my business partner in the
Yeah.
very beginning, and we would have saved ourselves
Or if
an
you
hour
would've
and 40 minutes.
Paid
or something.
attention to me when I said, click the corners.
Oh, well,
Oh, well.
yeah. So how is everybody?
Great.
Good.
I'll have to leave a
Get
little.
better.
I have one thing to report.
Okay, Gina.
Chris Fredrickson died last night. And
Oh,
I don't, maybe
no.
a lot of you don't know who he is, but he called me today and said that he'd been in the hospital for about 3 weeks. That he passed away peacefully.
Now,
Oh.
do you, I've forgotten now what all of his health issues were.
He had throat cancer and then he had chemo and radiation. And then he had a lot of complications from all the chemo and radiation.
Oh, yeah.
He had been in so Shirley had been there all of November and December to help him when he was getting his chemo. And but then she had to go back to California for Christmas. And then her family came down with COVID, so then she was never able to get back to Ohio, where he lives, north of where I live. So,
Okay.
but they'd been in touch every day. And
That's a shame.
I just,
Hmm.
another one of our group,
Yeah,
the test group. Others
yeah,
may
the
not.
test, because he
Yeah.
didn't graduate from high school, did he? He had moved by
Well,
then?
yeah,
He moved.
well, he graduated somewhere else to
Yeah,
Columbia.
that's what I mean. He didn't graduate from RHS.
Yeah, he moved.
Right.
I'll have to look at my
Right.
Pioneer or Pioneer.
Whatever the heck the name of it is.
Already, Jimmy?
Did he even go to high school with us? Did he even go to high school with us?
You know, I don't remember.
Did he
Who
move?
is it?
before-
I'm
sorry.
He might have been freshman or sophomore.
Chris Fredrickson.
Who was it?
Chris Fredrickson.
I don't remember that name at all.
I don't remember.
He was from.
Anybody that went to high school would not have known him. Only the people who know him would have been the people from Test.
Test.
Yeah.
Right.
Test or from Charles
Right.
School.
He lived right across the street from Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have Sharon on
Hi,
here.
Sharon.
We haven't seen Sharon in quite a while, and she's only been with us for a short time today.
Hi, Karen.
So we're going to come back to you in just a minute. And then Jean, you've got to get off early.
Yeah, I've got my little granddaughter and I've got to take her somewhere.
Ah,
Where are you going to take her?
Anywhere
I have to
exciting?
take her back home.
Oh,
there you go.
There's Sharon. Hi, Sharon.
so Sharon,
Bobby.
tell us what's been happening out there in Washington, out in
After
Washington.
that, I got a call.
It's been quiet.
It's just been, really?
Spring is finally here though, so things are getting busy, you know.
It looks like you just got a haircut.
Well, that was when the whole pandemic started. And I decided I liked it really short, so I've just kept it that way.
Well,
So,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, looks good. Looks good. So now you said later on today, now we all know that you're really into the gardening and the flowers and all of that. So bring us up to date. Is there anything big deal going to be happening this year on the flower show or anything like that?
No, not really. And my gardening more is vegetables, although that's sort of my cover story for having all the flowers down the middle of it. But, so I was out this morning and got the peas planted that have been sprouting. So that was an undertaking. That's not easy to.
No.
Not easy to do those. Huh?
The big excitement is we got new chicks this year, 33 baby chicks that are coming along. They're 4 weeks old now and getting pretty good sized. So that's fun.
Good.
Like your cattle too.
Yeah, cattle.
Cattle.
That's our back pasture there, and those are our neighbors' cows. That picture was taken last summer. But the cows are back out there again. They spend from like March to November.
Yeah.
We have 3 big pastures.
Cool.
And without something to eat them down, you've got to get out there and mow. So
Yeah.
we let the cows come over and eat, and we get a little bit of beef and for exchange. And I get to pretend that we have cows. But if there's a problem, I get on the phone to Dave. Dave, there's a problem. So
There
Dave's
you
got
go.
to get over here and take care of it. So
It
That's
You can
just,
always buy a goat.
That's good.
Oh,
Sharon, how many acres do you have?
about 16.
Okay.
And most of it is in pasture. It's kind of unusual for this part of Western Washington because the glacier didn't do anybody any favors with soil out here. So we're really lucky to have a place that's level and the soil's pretty
Yes.
good. So
Dirt, yeah.
it's been a farm for generations. It was part of an old original homestead here in this area. So, and the soil's good because apparently this used to be an old glacial lake. So
Sharon, when did your family move out there?
we all moved out here in 1980.
1980, wow.
Yeah.
it looks beautiful.
So now the kids, of course, are Washingtonians and
Yeah.
but moving other places too. So and you probably know how that is. So yeah. Of course, you're in Hawaii, so
Yeah. True.
yeah. It's lovely here right now, but it's supposed to be nasty tomorrow and Monday. Snow in the
Mud-
mountains.
Mud
so
season.
stay where you
What
are.
do you call, Sharon, what do you call lovely, temperature wise? What do you call lovely? Temperature.
Which one are we talking to here?
You.
Fair.
Oh, to me.
I'm
Um,
sorry.
well, it's not lovely by your
Just
standards.
heard it.
It hit 60 once last week. That was pretty exciting. Yeah, it's been back in the
Take that
50s.
too.
It could hit 60 next week, and that would be, a big deal thing. So, but
Well,
see, in the
60 years, good
summertime,
too.
if it gets up in the 80s, we all swoon. It is just too hot. Cannot stand it if it gets above 80. And in the wintertime,
too.
if it gets, down in the 20s,
Wow.
this is newsworthy. And oh my God, in the teens, it's the end of the world. So it's very temperate. My sister, who still lives in Richmond, refers to us as weather wimps.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to that. So,
Yeah.
oh well.
Now-
It rains though a bit in the winter.
Did you have a good visit when you came back a while back? Can
Yes,
you
it
come
was
back to
wonderful.
Richmond?
I've got to get back out there again too. It's been too long since, my brother and sister still live there in Richmond and I need to get back and visit. They both refuse to get on a plane these days, so it's up to me to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
And then where does your cousin live?
Which cousin are we talking about?
The
Rena?
one that was in our class.
Rena.
Rita.
Rena lives there in Richmond. She's on Park Drive or something like that out on the east side. So yeah,
Okay.
still doing fine.
Okay, good. Well, we are, I don't know when you are planning to come or, if you even thought about doing it this year, but I've got to call into, gosh darn, Kristen.
Kristen
Yeah,
at the, at South Side. Yeah.
yeah, Frank's daughter. I've actually called her now 3 times. I've called her cell phone twice, and I actually called there last week once and talked to a guy, and he said he would send her a message to get back in touch with me, but I haven't heard from her yet. So Bob,
Tommy, I'll send her a message. They've been chasing the NCAA tournament around.
Oh.
She and her husband been in Indy and, back and forth on that thing, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
So put that on your calendar for Tuesday, Bob, when everything's over.
Men's and women's, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What dates are you working on?
So we're working on
In June.
Friday,
What date?
either Friday, June the 22nd or Saturday, June the 23rd. So I kind of wanted to, and I'll again ask primarily the folks in Richmond as to which day seems better for them, because that'll probably be who will most attend. But I really in the end, Kristen will determine it if she already is booked for one of those days, because of a reunion. So I was hoping that I'd be able to talk to her before this call, but it hadn't had any luck, which is okay. That's fine. And I
Yeah, I'll
told
get
her
with her, Tommy.
no big rush.
Tom, I was getting pencil and paper and I've already forgotten what day you said it might be.
22nd and 23rd of June, right, Tom?
Just ask
That's a
Bob.
Friday and a
No,
Saturday.
did I say June? I apologize.
No, you
If I
changed
said
it.
June,
What did you say?
it's
did say June.
July.
Oh, you said
July.
July.
Hey, that's what I
Oh,
thought.
corrected yourself.
Friday, July 22nd or Saturday, July 23rd.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
July.
I
Okay.
have no idea.
Both fine on this end.
So, I mean,
And
so
Max.
what is your thinking about either a Friday or a Saturday? Those of you in Richmond, does it matter anymore, really?
Doesn't matter to me.
We're all retired. It doesn't matter.
Not to me.
Doesn't matter to
Doesn't
me.
matter to me. I'll
Okay.
come over from Dayton.
Well, Susie, it matters to you though.
Close that area.
So
I mean,
Saturday,
John Having.
I can take a Friday off. It's fine.
okay.
Johnny, how you doing?
And
good. Doing good.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Johnny, does a
Hi.
Friday or a Saturday matter to
He
you?
doesn't care. He's not in-
Johnny Habing,
Yes.
does a Friday or a Saturday matter to you when we have our summer luncheon?
No.
Okay, well then, good. Then I'm gonna do it, whichever one Kristen
Yeah.
says is better for her.
Right.
Yeah,
Sounds perfect.
I'd rather accommodate her then.
That's good.
Okay, cool. Now, I am definitely though going to be going after, and Bob, you got to help me with this because I
Okay.
know you'll have some leverage. I'm going to be going after Dick Bird to ask if his daughter would make her cupcakes for us.
Cupcakes. Oh, yeah. All those cupcakes were amazing.
Yeah, they
I
are.
know those of you who weren't there and didn't get a chance to experience
Incredible,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
A cupcake, you think, okay, a cupcake is a cupcake.
No.
no.
Let me tell you. And these were like fancy, big things. They were just
They were just
phenomenal.
They were cupcakes, yeah.
They were cupcakes. They
Yeah.
were really, really good.
They were the ones like you have in the school basement at a chip in, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're still talking about them a year later, so they must be.
Yeah, you know they're
Yes,
good.
they're
They're
really
very
good.
special,
They
yeah,
were really good. They were really good.
yeah, you bet.
I thought I already.
I'm
left.
sorry, I missed that.
I know.
Harvey's trying to
That's
get
like
on.
one of the,
There.
that's like
Is he
one of
on?
the ladies at our church, Channel 8, came over and did an interview with her,
There he is.
Joanne Lawrence. She makes a chocolate cake with caramel icing and she always takes
Oh, I
it.
love that.
I think
Oh.
for like 30 years or more
Sounds
to
delicious.
all the ball
Yeah.
games to help the teams managers and stuff.
Red Devil
Richmond High
Pride is
School.
where she does them in the
Yes.
hospitality room at Richmond High School.
And she's
yeah.
done that for like 30 years or more. And Channel 8 came over and interviewed her.
She sure has, yeah.
Mhm. even before her husband got killed. And it may have been more like 50 years. I don't know,
Yeah.
because she's up in her 80s.
45
Yeah.
or 46, you're right, it's right in that range.
Yeah,
somewhere.
somebody contacted Channel 8 from the high school, and
Jeff, her
They
son, contacted him,
had
and then
Ray
the high school
Wolfe
backed it
and
up.
Jeremy Hill on there, and yeah. She makes those for us, like when I do dinners for Hope House here in Richmond, she always makes those for us.
Now, Jean, who are you talking about? Who's doing?
Joanne Lawrence.
Okay.
Who is that?
So
How's she connected to us?
Well,
you-
I
are
went
you,
to church with her, but Pam, she has done this for Richmond Pride for years, and her daughter's name would have been Pam Lawrence and Jeff Lawrence.
Yeah. But
And
not in our class or anywhere
they're
near our
like
class.
young.
They graduated back in the 50s, I think, didn't they, Jean? Would she
They
and Jerry
would've
been in a class of like 1956?
yeah, her and Jerry would have been, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because
it,
she's
yeah,
in her
that-
80s.
Yeah, just a great story though about somebody that dedicated themselves to something.
They were big into golf, and they were at a golf outing in the Carolinas, and he walked out of the motel to get a paper and got hit and killed by a car.
Yeah.
gee,
One of the real tragedies of our lifetime, yeah.
Oh,
wow.
But it was neat to see her on Channel 8 News.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sharon, what else can you tell us about what's been happening in your life since the last time we saw you?
Lots, I'm sure.
Oh, man. Well, I have decided to take music lessons.
Really?
I'm learning to play the bagpipes.
Oh,
Really?
cool.
And I can tell by your reactions that you all secretly would like to take bagpipe lessons.
Yeah,
I can tell. That's right. There you go.
Any of
Which
you guys
style
that
of
lived down around
bagpipe
Charles
you
Street,
learning?
you remember Dr. Ball that played the bagpipes in the evening?
Yeah, he
over
would come
there all the
into
time?
his
Yeah.
patients with his bagpipe
Oh
outfit
my
and playing his
Oh,
bagpipes.
exactly
and
right.
to his
Yeah,
appointments.
yeah. Great guy.
Yep. Saw him many times.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So how is it going, Sharon?
Well, I'm not ready for a recital yet. Let's put it that
Okay.
way. You start out on a chanter, which is just a small thing. It's a mouthpiece plus the horn, and you got to get good on that first. And that is not easy to play. I thought, well, this will be a piece of cake. I was wrong. I was very wrong about that. So, but progress is being made. Yes.
For you.
We're looking forward to your concert.
I've threatened all the neighbors that I'm going to sit out on the deck this summer and practice out there. And I have a cousin who lives in New Mexico, and she figures she could probably be able to hear me from there. It's
Okay.
only 100 miles away. So
How will your cattle react to that, sir?
I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah. We have two dogs that like to come in and lay in the room, here when I'm practicing. One of them can hear pretty well, and she gets up and leaves. The other one is deaf, and she just stays with me. So that tells you something right there.
There you go.
yeah,
More practice needed.
Jimmy, you need to send Sharon then some of your music from Scotland that includes bagpipe.
Have you seen those, Sharon?
Pardon me?
Which style of bagpipe are you learning?
I don't have any
There's
pipes yet. I'm
styles?
still on the chanter. I have not progressed
Okay.
to the point of being blessed with the bagpipes. Probably the Great Highlands though, because I think that's what all the rest. The lady that's teaching me is associated with a Tacoma pipe and drum band, and they refer to playing the small pipes, which is just, I think, the single drone, as being kind of a different experience than the Great Highlands. So that's the 3-drone one.
Wow.
I apologize to the rest of you here for this boring bagpipe discussion.
It's not boring at
We'll get
all.
off into that. So
Well, because Jim
I
has
didn't
been,
know there were different types of bagpipes.
yeah, Jim's kind of been educating us, not intentionally, but when he sends the music, some of the music has included groups from Scotland where one person would be playing the bagpipes, but it was actually an electronic one, wasn't it, Jim?
No, it's a one that you inflated with your elbow.
Okay.
Oh,
The Irish.
One is, it's not the one that you have
Blow
to,
in. I tell you,
Blow in.
that was one of the biggest revelations to me, even with the chanter. You have to blow really, really, really hard. To the point where you get dizzy when you're practicing.
Oh my
You know, that
God.
this is a limiting factor.
Hyperventilate.
I can see
When I'm
why.
practicing. And I asked my instructor about this. She says, well, normally people don't have much trouble with the chanter, but it's very common for people to get very dizzy when they start to play the pipes because it requires so much air that you're
Wow.
blowing into that bag. So that's
Wow.
something to look forward to.
I'll send you some music, Sharon.
Oh, good.
I'm smokers only too, right? Yeah.
It'll be a while. So anyway,
Yeah.
That's neat.
Good for you.
Sounds like a great thing to do.
well, sure.
Probably
I
good for
kind of had to
yourself.
back into this because, you know, I had commented to a friend that, you know, how horrendous bagpipe music can be, but I always secretly wanted to play it. And it turns out she has a friend that was the teacher.
Oh my God.
You know, said, I can hook you up. So, you know, here I had smarted off about this. Suddenly in a
Caught,
put up
yeah.
or shut up situation, you know,
Yes, it
Caught
was
with
like,
the-
So I
caught
said,
in the
okay.
cookie jar, didn't
Hey.
it?
let's give it a try. So it's been kind of fun, you know,
Yeah.
what the heck?
So do we have, are there any other musicians among us who are on today? Anybody play
What do you-
anything?
Not
Yeah,
I,
and what-
certainly.
well,
Tom.
yeah, I played the violin in
I
orchestra.
played the
all
piano. I grew up playing the piano.
All the time I was there at Richmond.
But you haven't done it since.
No, I was gonna do that in college and then I didn't. So
And you have no desire to pick it up now.
at times I do. Yeah, I mean, I love violin music and cello music and all of that. And I listen to it a lot, but I don't have a violin now. It was my father's violin. I wanted to play piano, but we had a violin. My father played. So that's what I played.
So
Yeah.
take this and play, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
Chris-
played the violin as well when Sandy did, and also took piano for many years. Right now, I
Right.
don't play piano. My father played the violin in Richmond Symphony, and my youngest son was a trumpet performance major at IU. So kind of have
Yeah.
Surrounded by musicians.
So Christy, how did you get involved?
Just well, I was the only girl in the family with three brothers, but the older boys started piano and then they got to quit. And I didn't. And because I wanted, it was all a deal. I mean, it was like from first grade till I graduated from high school. Never was I good. None of this came naturally. I was not good. I could play and I look now at the music I played and I think, God, that looks hard. I mean, but it's because I did take lessons. But what had happened is that if I didn't take piano lessons, I couldn't get a horse. And horse was that's what I did. It was the riding lessons and then my own horse at our house. And, but that all was connected, it was like,
Funny.
yes, if you want
The
to
leverage,
well,
right.
Tina, and you had a horse and you didn't have to take piano lessons.
No, I had already flunked out of piano lessons.
Okay, all right. Then I
But my
remember.
father that we were not going to do that anymore. They left the piano. I was not allowed to practice when he was in the house. I mean, it's
Oh, that's
just,
funny.
no.
Yeah. So we had that piano and it was the one was those small grand pianos,
Yeah.
and it looked pretty in the living room. And then it ended up changing to an acrosonic, which is of course, I can't remember. It's a spinet, but it's considered to have longer lines in it. So it makes it better than just a plain spinet. Who knows? And so that was and that came along. I had my kids take piano. Sarah and Jacob. Jacob got to quit, which Sarah didn't like, but it was the same thing with Sarah. We had this deal going and she had a horse. So it was like, hey, that's
You
what I
mean to tell me
Oh,
that
that's funny.
you did that to your daughter after you got
did.
messed over?
I know. And then she ends up being pretty good on it. And she ends up, when she went to college on her own, she took some piano lessons. And now, and she has a
Wow.
baby grand in her house.
Cool.
And both of her girls went through the agony of having to take piano lessons. And I was, at that time, I could, I was available to drive them to some of those lessons. And she finally let them stop. Sarah was so busy, she couldn't keep track of it, and she couldn't make sure they practiced, and she couldn't do that. So they got off the hook. Sarah did not, and I did not. And she actually still likes to play the piano.
That's good.
Well, that's good though.
Yeah.
She likes
And
it.
then the piano that, since Sarah already had a piano, when we moved to this house, which has now been 10 years, and it's a much smaller space, the piano, I didn't care that the piano wasn't coming, and there was no room for it. So moved it over to our son's house. They had 2 little girls. So thought that would be a good thing. They never really played it. They had a babysitter that liked to play it when she was there for those little girls, which that was fun. And it just got given away, gift given to a family that could not afford a piano. And that was about a year ago. But they finally decided, like,
That's awesome. Yeah.
I was really happy that they were able to find a family that they were looking. Their son was crazy about playing the piano. So that old Acrosonic has been in a new home and loved for the
Wow.
last year.
Yeah, what a great story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that was just one of, yeah, that's all. I didn't mean to tell you the whole thing, but it really was a good story. I was so happy when, and all I did was, they gave it to the family, and they had called me, my daughter-in-law called me, and she said, we've never had it tuned. And I said, get it moved and I will pay to have it tuned, because I knew it was a decent piano. And this is a kid that wanted it. And so I said, fine. And they said it tuned really well, and it's in a happy home.
That's great. That's
So
great.
that's my piano story, but not that I enjoy playing or want to play again.
There must be a lot of that. Christy, there must have been a lot of that going on in Richmond, because I had the same deal, take piano lessons and maybe you'll get a horse, and finally did get the horse, But we had a family piano, in the house. It was an old player piano that my grandmother had
Oh,
bought.
that's
in the
neat.
40s. And
That's neat.
I still
Well, we
have
had
that piano.
player piano.
That's neat.
Yeah,
That's
we had
cool.
a player
That's
piano.
cool. That's neat.
Okay, so how many who are on the call today had horses?
Just Christy and I,
One,
and
two.
Owned or boarded?
You know, had a
John, we
horse.
boarded a couple, but I didn't own them.
Judy
Our
and I
family
had-
didn't own them.
I had a horse
Well,
when I was an adult, not when I was growing up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
But a
yeah.
kid, I mean, we're talking about as a kid, right? That was.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Rode all over Richmond, up and down the streets, Judy, across. This was a bad thing to do, but we sure did it. Judy and I did, because we rode together all the time. Now, the other girls in the same group, oftentimes that weren't riding, if they didn't have a horse, they were at Frisch's, cruising Frisch's.
Oh, the horse.
No.
Sitting on their, that's what they were doing. And Judy and I would go for a ride on our horses out, and we went across early in the morning at the Elks Country Club, right after it had been nicely mowed.
Uh-huh.
Now, we were probably 12 years old, ran right across the greens. And we're talking, as soon as the sun came up, we'd take off across Elk Country Club golf course.
Mm.
And it was, it was smooth ground. It was nice and smooth. It was very manicured, and we never told our parents, of course, that wouldn't have gone over well. And we never got caught.
Never got caught.
Wow.
So you just know they were clunky, had no idea how much damage we were doing to those greens. So we would do it. We'd start riding as soon as it was daybreak, so we could see.
The greenskeeper had job security down there.
Yeah.
There.
Jerry McNally, he was a friend of mine, actually. Yeah.
I can
Rick
still
knew him.
remember riding across those that golf course. We'd say, "You ready? You ready?" We'd go clear across, and then it's like, we could better keep quiet. We won't get in trouble. It's like, this should be between the two of us. One of our many secrets we shared. We thought we'd better keep quiet about, or we'd get in trouble.
Well, I was called out of school one day because my horse was boarded near Forest Hills.
Yeah, I know her.
And,
I know your
and,
person.
and he was out running all over Forest Hills, and of course, nobody could catch
Oh,
him.
wow.
And I had to, my mother was scared to death of
Oh,
horses. She couldn't go out and
sure.
get him, so she had to come get me to get him.
I bet. But at least
How
you
much
didn't
damage?
get in trouble.
I don't know how
because
much damage he did, but boy, he had a good time.
I bet he did.
Yeah. Mhm.
Something he'd been dreaming
Maybe
about
help
every time. he
fertilize
could
the
put it
greens on the
across his
way.
head.
And-
Yeah, that's right. An extra bonus.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
Karen Alexander, you haven't been on in a while. What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Well, actually, in February, I was sick with something I did to my back. So I was in the hospital just for an afternoon, but they never did figure out what it was.
What, you gonna go? All right.
And walked up and down the steps at my daughter's house way too much and carried things, carried stuff. So that was February, the first week of February, but all's well again. So then in March, we were in Savannah. And that was nice to go visit my sister that lives down there. She's my running sister. And this morning she ran in Charleston and did a half marathon. And her words were, at least she finished. She's 78 years old. She's my older sister.
Good for her.
The sad news
good
is,
for her.
her husband is not well at all. So we are not sure how things are going to go for him. He's 87. He's 9 years older than she is. No, so we're kind of thinking that he's not going to make it to his 88th birthday in August. But in the meantime, she's trying to stay healthy herself and all. Yes, but we had a nice visit down in Savannah and the weather was warmer and we didn't do anything special but to enjoy the warm weather. So,
And the French.
Where do they live in Savannah?
they live out on Wilmington Island, so they're still I think they're about 30 minutes from Tybee.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's called Wilmington Islands, all I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Go
particular
through
one.
Savannah.
We have a
Yeah.
good friend who used to live in Savannah, and we would go there every year near the end of March, first part of April, to the Savannah Music Festival.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if any of you have
Yeah.
never done that,
Well,
it's
yeah.
fantastic. It goes on for like 3 weeks,
Oh, wow.
and they have every kind of music imaginable. And it is all the way from Zydeco, if you know what Zydeco
Oh,
is,
sure,
one
yeah.
end of the spectrum, all the way up
Cajun
to,
music.
a concert, orchestra at the other end, and
Tommy,
everything in between.
Tommy and Karen, while you were talking about Savannah, my son Bo was down there
Thanks,
this
Abby.
week, missed a cut. But talking about what a beautiful area it is, they were in an area called Traditions, Tom, which is a neighborhood maybe out of Savannah just a little bit. And
Okay.
one of the young people that was a first T student with us for 6 or 7 years is there now as a sophomore in college. And she goes to Savannah College of Arts and Drama, SCAD is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it's
Very
a
SCAD,
a
yeah.
wonderful
Very
educational
expensive.
process. She's a videographer,
Brianna Fisher.
Brianna Fisher, who is pattering her career
Mhm.
after Ted or Blanford kid from here in town that was a helicopter pilot in the war and has made movies in Hollywood as part of that. And then he took in a young lady named Jessica Lakoff, who Rick was a golfer at Purdue. You may know her and her family. It's Tim.
Penny Lakoff.
Tim and Penny's daughter, yeah. So that is a great story. And they actually got a chance to talk to each other a little bit this week, but it was kind of a hi-bye thing, but.
My niece graduated from there about 3 years ago. She just finished publishing her second children's book. But
Wow.
she does a lot of artwork, a lot of murals, that type of stuff.
God, that's
She's-
awesome,
She
Gene.
does really great.
Yeah,
It's a great
really neat.
school. It's
And
really
I was
neat.
surprised, Gene, at the enrollment down there. It's like 11,000 students.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
I didn't realize it was that big.
And
You know,
it's
I thought it
very
was much smaller.
expensive,
But
very
it's-
expensive.
But there's not like,
$38,800. I looked it up the other day.
I was
Oh,
gonna
wow.
say, I thought 40,000 a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, there are a lot of them around there like that,
Yeah.
around, which is amazing. Like, oh,
And there's
Yeah.
no really,
the other-
there's no real main campus. It's spread out all over the town.
Right,
oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Savannah.
And
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
young lady she works a lot of special events in Savannah. But she's working the Corn Ferry tournament this week.
Oh,
And she sent me a message last night that she has 70 hours in this week so far with 2 days to go.
Wow.
So yeah,
She
she's
is a,
working
she
hard.
is a worker. She is
Yes.
a hard.
Yeah,
worker.
she's
Her
a
grandma-
damn.
Her grandmother's been my best friend for 50 years.
Oh, how nice.
Well,
How
Mhm.
nice. So
wow.
you know when she came around, that's for sure. When she got started.
So Karen,
Yes.
back to your visit there, did you go into town at all to go to any place to eat?
No, not this time, but remember, we get to go almost every year, every other year down there. So my sister worked at the Pink House for a long time.
Oh, okay.
That's a famous place.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
she
Oh,
was
yeah.
doing the
Is
accounting.
it a
She-
restaurant?
Yeah.
It
that a
is. And
Okay.
actually, and I think that there's a particular table where George Washington, it's upstairs and it's out a window. And I think they make a big deal about that one.
Oh.
Again, it's been a while since I've been in there. Again, very expensive to eat there. They have a wonderful bar down underneath, underground
Oh,
that's
yeah.
delightful.
Yeah.
And we've done that too, where you just have snacks and drinks.
It's,
But this time we didn't because my brother-in-law, he fell, he's got a tumor and it just goes on and on. And
Yeah.
so he was not well and we were there more to help out for a while.
Sure.
But the other time to go, guys, and we missed it by 5 days anyway, was the St. Patrick's Parade. We've
Oh
been
my
to
God.
that. Savannah is famous.
Hmm.
I mean, if Chicago has a good one, Savannah has a great one also for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And we came home on the 12th, so we just missed it. Can I back up just enough to share with you? You were talking about art, and this week I got a nice surprise. My son is an artist, but he's been doing design work with clothing. And so I'm going to turn the camera around and show you a shirt that he just sent me back. I sent it to him and he embellished it. And this is what he's doing in addition to working at this ranch that I've talked about before. So just a minute, and I'll show you.
Okay.
Can you see this shirt?
Oh, yeah.
And so can you hear me still?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, you
Oh,
didn't
come
get to
on.
see it? Okay,
Oh, yeah,
so
there.
he's
There we see it. There I see it.
he
Oh.
embellished it. Now, this shirt was his shirt when he was a kid, when he was a teenager. And I've been wearing it at night, around my jammies. And it was starting to wear out. So I sent it to him and he put a fabric on the collar and did a new pocket and anyway, it's just quite delightful. And he's got a website where he sells these embellished sweaters and jackets and shirts. And it's pretty cool. It's just something.
Sounds like it.
He has an art history major. Yeah.
Well, Karen,
So it was just really fun to have that surprise in the mail this week. Yeah.
Karen, why don't you email his website contact to me and then I'll send it out to everybody.
Well, that'd be great.
Sure.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Be happy to.
It's
Yeah.
on that Etsy. Etsy.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll send it to you guys, but
Okay.
you can look and see his work. His last name's Patton, Doug Patton. Okay, Patton. So
Okay.
I'll send it to you, Tom, and see if we
Okay,
can't
yeah,
send it out.
I'll send it out.
Yeah, he's trying to sell them. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, that was a nice surprise because
That
I
was.
just sent it to him and he sat right down. Yeah, and did it.
And embellished it.
Mom's
Yes,
proud.
Awesome.
Mom's proud. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Should be, yeah.
Yes.
Now, we've got somebody who's only been on maybe one other time. Elaine Norton.
Hi, Elaine.
Hi, Elaine. You mean to tell me that Kroger let
Hey,
you
you-
off today? You don't have to.
Oh, I don't see Elaine.
What's happening?
I
Well,
see it.
I can't see everybody. at
Oh,
the
there
same
she is.
time.
Okay, there.
Tom.
Well, Elaine, are you on a PC or an iPad? What are you on?
I'm on a,
iPad.
my son bought me this new Apple iPad Air and I'm still
Okay,
trying.
okay.
And I thought, you guys all pop up in a group and you're all popping up one at a time. every
Okay,
so
okay.
often.
So go up, take
Mine
your,
does that.
take your cursor, your little thing, and go up to the top left-hand corner,
Yeah.
Okay, try it.
and it'll come down and there, does it say speaker view or gallery view?
Okay, wait a minute. There
Or
we
make
are.
us have donuts.
Gallery view, yeah.
I
Gallery.
got it.
You
There
got
you
it?
are.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you can see everybody. Aren't they all cute?
You're all so
Very nice.
sweet and precious, I'll
And
tell you.
old.
And we all look so young and
Yeah.
ready to go.
Okay, so you haven't been on for a while, so what's been happening?
Well, I have so many great grandchildren that are involved in sports. And I'm always having to go to one or the others. And then birthday parties and like this, I didn't know I was going to get on today because unfortunately I had to go to a funeral this morning, then a 1-year-old birthday party this afternoon.
Wow.
And on the way home, I thought, oh, it's only 10 after 3. Maybe I'll try and hop on today.
There you go.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Glad you
Yeah,
did.
Good. Glad you did.
Do you recognize everybody? I'm not putting you on the spot because we've got names.
Pretty
you know,
much
you
I
can-
do. Some of them come in Kroger and we chat and I recognize just about everyone there. Yeah,
Well, good.
that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They recognize
that's
me.
good
I
too.
think, oh, wow.
So,
I have to tell you, when Elaine waits on you, and she does you see her do a little bit of everything at Kroger, but she's always just so delightful, even if she's been there all day on her feet and just as
Thank you.
fun to talk.
Good. That's so nice to
Thank
hear.
you, Vicky. I like, if I see
I
one.
second that because
say
you are
hello, but I'm going from one end to the other because these young kids trying to keep them in line. But I only work 3 days a week there. I only work through the week for 3 days only. I told them, I said, I didn't retire to work full time at Kroger.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, they do need the help.
Oh, they
need the help.
do desperately. you
Every
know,
place does.
It's like a revolving door out there.
Mhm.
And then the work ethic's so different, the way we were raised and taught how to do
Yeah.
things. I mean,
Yeah.
oh boy, it's unreal. So,
Yeah.
but the ones that show up, we're grateful for.
so they show up?
If they
Just
show up,
show
we're
up.
If they show
grateful.
up.
But you know what? It's really funny. There's a few of them I know if they're to be there at 3 o'clock or something, I'm waiting and I'm saying, well, it's only 3 o'clock. 3:30, and they do show up by 3:30.
They show up by 3:30.
It's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. My grandma would have beat me to death.
Yes.
Something like
right.
that.
That's,
At
I
least-
think that's
at
what was
least back
lacking
your
in their
up.
upbringing. They didn't get
Oh.
beaten enough. They weren't
It's
beaten enough.
Well, I've got this one
Easy now.
kid. He's from Alabama. I just love him to pieces, but I can't understand him all the time. He'll say, ma'am, what time did you come in this morning? And I said, well, I was here at 6:30. Oh, no, he said. I said, well, honey, if they ever schedule you at 7, he said, oh, I guess I'm going to be late. Guess I'm going to be late. I
That's
said,
funny.
He does sound kind of cute though, doesn't he?
Elaine,
Well,
they
yes,
still
I'll
have
be
the-
late.
did they still have the guy that used to be check people out? He was from Australia.
Oh, I thought he was
he
England.
was from England.
England.
Well, it's so funny. He was really good looking. It didn't bother me at all, and I didn't care what line I was in.
Everyone,
But you
well, I
could not
got to
believe
work-
the women that lined up.
They did. They did. I
group.
told
Oh,
him
that's
one day,
so
I said,
cute.
"Simon, I'm just going to shut down and let you take over. You sure don't need me here. They don't want me. They want you." Why, he just laughed about it. But the bank recruited him. They came in and talked him into coming to the bank, and he's working there now. So
Oh,
I got
Good.
he was
Is
I
he
can
at
see that.
Chase?
He's friendly and
Is he at
very
Chase,
friendly.
Elaine?
yes.
Elaine, is he at Chase Bank?
yes.
Well,
just
now we
dealt with
know
him
Gene's
last
gonna
week.
switch to
Yeah,
Chase.
you're gonna switch.
I never heard of him. and I
They need a
can't-
money order,
Have
right,
to
Gene?
check in.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He really is. I just love
He
him. We
was-
all miss him so much.
Very
But,
nice,
uh,
but it was real unusual to have him up at Chase because usually it's a couple of girls up there and Tracy, but yeah, I dealt with
Right.
him on something the other day, but he was very helpful.
Oh, I miss him because when he'd go back to England to visit his mother, he'd bring me the original Cadbury eggs. You know, the ones you can only
Oh,
get
is that
because
cute?
they're the original ones over there. And he'd bring, for me and my sister, bring us about a 6-pack of them so we'd have them.
What a sweetie.
Right.
What a sweetie.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's in
a
our
real
bank, so
sweetheart.
I'm gonna have to start working on that. If they'll do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I
you
wanted to
you see
share-
all- Huh?
I wanted to share with you something that my birthday was March the 5th. But just the other day, I got something through the mail with nothing. And I'm gonna hold it up for you. It's really pretty in the sunlight. And I love to garden. And
Oh.
yeah, but there was no name. And I thought, I just can't think of anybody who would send me that to me, except maybe Vicky, because she knows how much we both love gardening. But it was Jeannie Lindsay. We were in junior high school
Yeah.
together. It was just a surprise completely. And I wish she would come on, but
Yeah.
I don't know why she doesn't. But
I
she,
I talked to
wonder,
her about that, Sandy. I talked to her about it 2 weeks ago, and I talked to her about that very thing.
she would be great to come on.
Yeah.
And, but it was so nice. It was just so nice. It was a great surprise that I finally found out who it was.
How did you figure out who it was?
Forever.
I've got to get off. I'll talk to you guys next month. Have a great one.
Okay, good to see you,
Take
Gene.
care.
Bye.
And Chase Bank, don't forget that.
Chase Bank, yeah.
Thanks, Bank.
I think that's her bank, but she used to always do the drive up. Now she's going
Yeah, now
into the
she goes
teller.
in.
There you go. Yeah. Customer
another
service
one I
guy,
see-
Tommy, they're gonna promote him.
Well, I was gonna have Rick Putoff talk to us
Has
next
he
about
gone?
telling us what's gonna happen.
Already?
There's a, Rick Putoff's going to an exciting trip. I'll tell you that before he gets back. He just walked out a minute ago.
There he is.
There he is.
there it
Rick
is.
Putoff.
Where is he?
Tell us about your exciting upcoming trip.
There he is. Eating.
You mean to the Masters?
Yep.
Oh,
I have a good friend who left today to go down to the Masters.
Really?
Lucky. Really lucky.
Cool.
So
I've
when
been
are you
very
going?
lucky to have a good friend that got tickets every year. Scott
Uh,
Porter.
That whole story, Rick, about where those tickets come from,
You mean where they originally,
where they
are
originally
the ones
came
we're
from.
using? The ones we're using this year?
Yeah.
Some of you or most of you know Tuffy Tice, new Tuffy Tice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And walk.
And
Well,
Walker's
Susie's
stepfather.
related.
Yeah, he was my uncle.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Susie is related, right?
Yeah. Well, Scott and he were best of friends, and then when Tuffy could no longer go, he would sell them to Scott, and he would take a few guys. We'd find tickets down there. And then when Tuffy died, and Scott called and wrote letters to Augusta. I mean, Tuffy had had those tickets for 100 years, I think.
Yep.
I mean,
Mhm.
and, he didn't beg, but he
begged.
Augusta
Okay.
into
He begged.
realizing the fact that Tuffy had had him all those years, and
Yeah.
why they should allow his daughter to continue with ownership of the tickets, because usually you die, the tickets are just
do
gone.
that.
You
They're
can't
gone.
will them. And it worked. So Ann's been getting those tickets ever since Tuffy died, and she never goes. So Scott buys the tickets from her, and then some of us lucky people get to go to the Masters.
Yep.
Cool.
This is the first time, and I think we quit going 3 or 4 years ago because
Mhm.
we were all too damn old to walk around that place. And then the restrooms took 45 minutes to get in them. So
Yeah.
I don't know which one
And-
was the most
And for
important.
those of
reason we
you who aren't aware, the big news this week is Tigers coming back to play this next Masters. So
Yeah.
heard
I
that.
saw that. I
Site,
saw
and
that.
he
They know
signed up
that?
on,
Yeah.
on Friday afternoon. Yeah,
That
Bo and I
was
were talking about that this morning.
Well, I'd heard the rumor, but I didn't know that was a fact. So
Yeah, it was confirmed Friday at noon is the deadline, Tom, and he signed up, yeah.
He was there Tuesday.
Just a quick story about all you guys, and Susie, you may know this, and Rick, you may know this, but I'm not sure. Those tickets that Tuffy Tice and the Witherby family got came from a lady who got them on the list at Augusta National named Esther Fink. And Esther Fink was from here in town, and she lived over on the west side. The story goes that she answered an ad in a Dayton Daily News for a job in Columbus, Ohio. So she drives to Columbus, Ohio, and is interviewed and hired by a lady named Barbara Nichols.
wow.
Barbara Nichols and Jack Nichols are starting businesses other than golf.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my
Esther
God.
becomes their first employee. And she lived over there during the weekend and came home on the weekends. Years later,
Wow.
we become involved with the Muirfield Golf Tournament way before Bo ever thought about playing golf, with the Witherby family and Tice's and those folks that had tickets over there. So as we do that, we become acquainted with Dick and Esther Frank, and all that all goes together, about 10 or 12 people. Bo's playing at Q School in Panama City. And Jack Nicholson had a hip replaced. Golf course is called Ombre, which is not there anymore. It got washed out in the hurricane. But in the field that week was Jack Nicklaus's son, Gary Nichols, who knew Bo, and I knew him from college golf because the boys had played together. So Bo goes into a playoff, 12 guys for 5 spots, and Nichols is already in the field. So Barbara Nichols says to me, Bob, I'll go in and get us a seat in the snack bar. And then when Bo finishes, you guys just come in and join us for lunch. So we do that. Bo gets through the playoff and all that worked out well to start his career. I go in and the boys are at one end and Jack's down there, and they're all huddled around Jack because it's like being with the Pope. And the parents are down at the other end, and I'm sitting right next to Barbara Nichols. And she says to me, Bob, where are you guys from again? And I said, Barbara, I'm from Richmond, Indiana, a little town just across the Ohio line. And I think you know a lady from my hometown. And she said, oh my God, do you know Esther Fink?
Oh.
And I said, yes, ma'am, I do. And she said, well, let me tell you something about Esther Fink. She knows everything about every business that we've ever operated. And she's tried to retire at least 2 times, maybe 3. And we have to call her back in to find out what the hell's going on. And she goes to her ledger book. She was a zero balance bookkeeper from Richmond Business College. And she goes to her ledger books and finds out any question we've ever had for her. So that's the Esther Fink story, where those master tickets came from.
Isn't that interesting?
That's
incredible.
Never knew that, Bob.
It's incredible. It really is. The other great story, Rick, about and you guys that know the Nichols family know by reputation, a guy named Richard Jeffers, who's a great industrialist here in town with the J.M. Hutton Company, lived over by Dennis School on Northwest 8th Street. And every now and then in his neighborhood, there'd be a big white Cadillac come up with red interior and Ohio State license plates on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, or maybe Monday. Well, Dick Fink worked at the sporting goods store at Sears, and he would always go to any sales viewing that they had for new products, and he always had top of the line fishing gear. So the story from Richard Jeffers, and he'd tell a lot better than I did, but he passed away. Jack Nicklaus would go to Richard Jeffers, and they'd come out of the house with rods and reels and plastic plugs, and they'd be out casting in the middle of Northwest 8th Street and reeling in the plugs as far as which gear worked the best. And then Jack Nicklaus might load some up and take it home to buy, and he might give it all back to Esther's husband, but.
That's
Funny.
amazing. That's a cool story.
It is.
Now,
And
go ahead.
some of the neighbors asked Mr. Jeffers, they said, do you know who that is? He said, no, I don't, but I don't give a shit if he's blocking the street. He said, well, that's Jack Nicholson. He said, who the hell cares about Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a great story.
Okay. So, Rick, how long are you going to be there?
I'll say keep playing.
With just 2 days. We make it short. We fly in on a Wednesday and it's a practice round. We don't go to that. And we watch Thursday and Friday, and Scott informed me we're leaving early on Friday so we can get back to Atlanta. I don't know why I let him make it 2 days only, but he's getting the tickets, so I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They may have somebody else using them, yeah.
I don't know why he's in such a hurry to get home. He's got nothing to do.
You tell him that, Rick.
I did
Rick,
after it's too late.
A great Scott Porter story. And some of you guys know Scott, and Scott and I have played gin for probably since 1959 or 60. And he can't beat me still, but he came out the other day and was playing gin. And his grandson Ryder plays on the Richmond High School golf team, going to be a very good player. And that would be Rebecca Scott's stepdaughter, or his real daughter, because I mean, there was no step to it as far as he's concerned. But she's a realtor here in town and does very, very well. And her husband Ryan was a golfer at Purdue and part of that Richmond dynasty that was a great golf team for 10 or 12 years. So Scott says to me, that damn golf coach at Richmond High School won't let parents or grandparents come and watch practice. And I said, Scott, they never have. And he said, bullshit. He said, my parents used to come watch me all the time. So I had Bo on the phone actually this morning earlier. And he said, Dad, you were never at golf practice. Nobody was ever allowed to go to golf practice. So I got to get a hold of Porter. You tell him, Rick, that nobody ever got to go.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, TK, when we first got on, we were talking about the thing that I sent out, the thing on Elvis.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that was touching. I love listening to that.
Well, and so it was later in the day, obviously, because it had to take a while for everybody to get it and take the time to watch it and listen to it. The Unchained Melody, but so then Tom sent me some really interesting stuff, and I can send it out when I send out the recording. But you might want to tell them a little bit about that, Tom, because you were very familiar about who wrote the song and all of that stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't because of memory that I knew all this, but after watching Elvis perform Unchained Melody late in his life, apparently in his last year, I thought it was impressive. He wasn't quite the Elvis he once was, I thought, in that recording, but Bobby Hatfield.
Yep, he was almost dead. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, that's why it was so darn touching to see him and said that he finally could sing for a short time. He did that song. And
yeah,
he was almost dead. He died.
He seemed to be having problems with breathing, and he was sweating, and maybe it was hot. I never heard this before. Anyway, I've
I read all that. That's so interesting. Died on my birthday, August 16th that year. I remember. It was like that was it, but and he was only 42 when he died.
Oh yeah,
in horrible shape. But that song, he got up for that song and did it, and it was touching because he actually was almost as perfect in pitch as he always had.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and the guy could hardly move, hardly breathe, hardly anything. I mean, I was so excited to see that. I played it several times. It's just like, wow. I got all teary every time. I was so happy you guys did that. I mean, it really brought something. So,
Well,
Thank
we came close to not sending it because Jimmy Hope he did a thumbs down on it. He said, no, can't do that. It's too.
Good, you.
I loved it.
I've got to sign off, guys. See you another
Okay,
time.
Okay.
Sharon,
Okay.
take good care of those flowers and vegetables.
Yes.
And the cows and
It's
the
great
chickens.
great to see you.
Good to see you. Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
So anyway, TK sent some stuff along later that had to do with who wrote the song.
Oh,
And I
that'd be-
believe the one guy that it was a lot about was he wrote the lyrics, didn't he, Tom?
Yeah, he wrote the lyrics.
Oh,
First
wow.
melody.
He was a Jewish guy. His parents were from Russia, or I think the father was Russia. And I can't think of his last name. If you have him before you there in the notes. Anyway, he wrote a lot of jingles, but this was obviously his most famous song, and he has royalty rights to Unchained Melody. So he was, I think, 49 days short of being 100 years old, and he died in 7.
Mm.
But it's one of the most recorded songs ever.
Really
I
was
think
touching.
600 or 700 different artists recorded it, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Isn't that the one that made him into what? I mean, he wealthy just from that one song.
Yeah,
right?
he didn't have to work after that, apparently. But,
Well,
that was in 1904, and it was
beautiful.
It was part of it was the main song from a low budget prison film. Nothing, no one had hardly ever heard of.
Yeah, I think the name of the movie was Unchained.
Unchained.
But Unchained is not even lyric, because the producer of the show wanted him to throw him in there somewhere so it made more sense as Unchained Melody, and that would be part of the lyrics, but it never was.
He refused it in lyrics.
And he was also, in one of the obits I read, he was kind of a contra guy anyway. If you said white, he'd say black. And that was one of those guys. Maybe he's a smart ass, I don't know. But anyway, it's a interesting background to the song.
That's a neat story. Yep.
He wrote it in parts of 2 days. Alex North, I think, is the guy that came up with the melody. And they begged him to, hey, you got to throw it in, man. No, I don't. I'm not going to do it. So they just had it as part of the title of the song, but he didn't like that.
Yeah.
Interesting that if you want to read more about it, Tommy.
I'll send it out with the.
Send it.
Tom sent me links to Wikipedia and one from New York Times. The New York Times, they won't let you read much unless you immediately pay them money. But the LA Times, I was able to read it, but it didn't really say much more than what Wikipedia had.
Yeah.
So Tom sent a thing with a link to Wikipedia, and I'll send that when we send out the recording, because it's very interesting. Yeah, his name was Hyman Harry Zaritsky, and he changed his name to Hy Zaret.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it sounded like a very, very cool guy.
Incredible, yeah.
Well, that's a neat story.
Remember Paul Harvey, the
news guy, sure.
They go out to the farm of my aunts and uncles, and they would always have Paul Harvey news on at lunch hour. And then he later developed that and the rest of the story.
Yes.
The story, punchline, the rest is now you know the story. So I'm always interested in reading about this kind of stuff, bios and who what were the circumstances, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, a little behind the scenes. He's just a little behind
Yeah,
the
yeah.
scenes. It's always so interesting. People's lives are that way. I mean,
just-
most people's lives, you just tell, if I guess you all know that if you, and I was a
That's
counselor, so I heard it a lot, just like Susie has. I mean, it's like the surface is one thing, and in 5 minutes you can get, when you're really talking to someone and they're opening up, you have a totally different
The
story.
tapestry of life, isn't it, Christy? Yeah.
Exactly. And I find that still so incredibly
It
interesting.
is incredible, yeah.
It
And,
is.
you know, Bo and I talk a lot about that because our lives were spent together.
Mhm.
And, you know, as we traveled and as we met people and as we had relationships and relationships fell apart and things changed, agents changed, the managers changed, caddies changed.
Yeah.
People that we knew in college, some of them worked out to be PGA pros and some of them worked out to be college coaches who are in the top programs in the country. And to just every now and then have somebody ask you a question and you go, wow, you know, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Harvey Goldenberg. Oh.
Yeah, Harvey.
You know, you look great. Do you have a new computer or something?
I'm on a different one today. I mean, I had trouble signing in on my desktop, so I'm on the laptop.
Okay.
So Harvey, have you
You look nice
retired?
It does do a better job on the Zooms.
Yeah.
Harvey, have you retired?
I retired technically on Thursday was my last full-time day. And then and after messing around for a month or so, I'll do some part-time stuff for.
That's all right.
So-called.
You'll ride by and make sure they're still open, Harvey.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be a senior advisor or so starting in May. The senior part.
Congratulations, that's neat.
Absolutely.
That's good though, because it'll keep you I think it's hard to just stop. I just stopped and that was really hard.
I work with a lot of nice people, so it'll be nice to stay in touch with that. And
yeah,
so that part will be good. But I just need some more time to myself.
Yeah.
Sure you do.
Nice vacation.
And what?
She said that you need a nice vacation.
Yeah, well, in the May, we've got a little trip planned at the end of May to mid-June, and then we'll do some other stuff too. Now that COVID is hopefully winding down. We'll
regressing anyway. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, how many of you plan to get that next booster?
I do.
Well.
I will, sure. Yeah.
On
It's
Tuesday.
like a shot to me, every year you're probably gonna have to get one. I'm guessing.
Yep.
I don't mind every year getting my flu shot, you know?
Yeah.
I just think it's gonna be
just
that
like-
way.
Shoot me up.
It's not it's not an issue. I mean, to me, I
Yeah.
can't imagine that that's going to be after from the time we were kids, you know, we had vaccinations, we had stuff.
Right.
It was like, so if that's going to save you from all this, remember when polio, when we were little kids,
Yeah.
there was all polio still around.
Polio.
And then you don't even
Yes.
think about it now, except when people have started it up again because they wouldn't get vaccinated. It's like, what in the world? And it's hard to understand. But
When I was in Texas visiting our son and their family, we were with hundreds of people, and I'm not kidding you. No one had a mask. Right. And boy, if I can go here and not get sick, I'm going to be darn lucky. And it's been a couple weeks, and I've been fine.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Good. So where were you in Texas? Did you stop in to see Becky?
No, because our son wanted to plan things, and he was taking a week off. Dwayne.
He's barking again.
Honestly, he wanted to plan things, and so I told him a few things that I wanted to do. It was in Houston, and he said, "No, I don't want you driving in Houston." Well, I can see why.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were busy. I'm not kidding. We were busy every day, all day. And there were 2 teenagers and an 11-year-old, and they had lots of energy. And I thought I could make it, but I kept walking. And so,
Well, how'd your back hold up?
well, you just have to do what you have to do. It hurt. Yeah.
I bet it hurt.
Yeah, it hurt. But you were so busy all the time, and the kids were doing so many things, you know, talking and so forth, that it's surprisingly, I didn't notice it as much.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Good for you.
So
Kept your mind off of it. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Mhm.
So that's a good segue to Becky. Becky, so what's been happening out there in Austin?
Well, 2 weeks ago, this coming Monday, we had a nice little tornado go through.
There you go.
And it was only about 8 miles from where I live.
Wow.
And I was watching the TV station, I was kind of flipping back and forth, and once TV station, tornado actually coming down off of Interstate 35 and the toll road 45. And it took out a Bank of America and the Home Depot there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've lived over in the other stations. We have a resort called Kalahari, and it's one of these indoor water parks and hotel type thing. And that TV station had a pole with their camera on it. And they said, oh my goodness, it's coming right for the pole.
Wow.
And the tornado came in and you saw the camera shake. And the next thing you saw was a camera looking down at the ground and swinging. And I said, that's a little close.
Yeah.
But we missed it. My son was able to park his truck underneath the awning at Lowe's. And I was kind of hoping just on my roof. I need a new roof. Just nobody else around me.
Please hit my
roof.
roof.
But it didn't happen.
That's funny.
But I've been cleaning out the space between my back door neighbor's fence. They put up a wooden fence, and Tom said, no, keep the chain link, our chain link fence up. So now there's things growing up between them. And I've been out cleaning that up, but their wooden fence is already showing signs of wear and tear. And I says, I'm glad I've got the chain link, because if it goes down, if their wooden fence goes down, I still have my fence. So, but I've been doing that. And the trash has decided they only want to haul away the trash bucket. They don't want extra stuff. So I put a little bit in the trash, and then I go next week, I cut a little bit more up and I put that in the trash. And just eventually I'll get it all taken care of. So, but other than that, nice warm weather and can't complain.
How warm's it been?
We have gotten up to the
80?
high 80s, I think low
Yeah.
90s.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Right, yeah.
And it's been dry. I mean,
Yeah.
we're in a drought.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very dry heat right now. So it's not as bad as it is during the summer. So
Wow. Huh. Well, we actually are up to 54 today, aren't we, Susie?
Yeah. And,
Yeah, I think
and
it is,
sun's out too.
Oh, wait, I
Sun's
can.
out.
Yeah.
Johnny, is it 54 over where you live, Johnny?
It's 82.
Yeah, right.
82.
It's 53, Tom.
In your
It's
house?
53.
53, okay.
we're actually at 84 right now.
Yeah.
So, well, if it's 82, Johnny, where exactly are you at the moment?
I'm home.
Where's that?
So you haven't been on in a while. What's been happening in your life?
Oh, well, I was sorry to hear Sharon leave because, she's talking about learning how to play the bagpipes, and I've become quite the musician myself. Other than playing my 45s, I've also started taking up the kazoo again, and I'm working on that. And it seems to be working out okay.
Kazoo.
And I never learned how to do that, and I got kicked out of choir, so music not in my bad. Yeah.
But other than that, I'm in between birthday parties today with my baby is 47 today, and his daughter will be 11 tomorrow. So we're having
Birthday parties, yeah.
Oh, kidding. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
All's going well.
Have you been off the road?
No, I've been doing quite a bit.
Have you really?
Not that much, but doing quite a bit of traveling through the Midwest.
Yeah.
But there's no new cars available, so we're picking
Has
up a lot
has
of.
that loosened up any at all, John?
Not really. It's a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Still
but
semiconductor, is that still the problem?
that's it. Yeah.
That's-
And
yeah, okay.
we see fields just full of vehicles all over that
That are waiting on parts.
they're
yeah.
just laying out there waiting for the
Man.
No, it's really bad. Yeah.
John, do you ever work with any of these guys over this way? Like Wetzel Ford and those guys, the big dealers here in town?
I've never been to Wetzel, no,
Okay, yeah.
but well, I know guys that have.
Yeah, I didn't know, they're good friends of my family and stuff. I didn't know if that was somebody you work with or not.
And no, no, I do work with them, but I've never gone to Wetzel myself.
Okay, gotcha, yeah. So if you get, your assignment comes from somebody else, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that reminds me, when you're talking about this, go back to TK and Betsy. So they were on, tell them real quickly about your trip.
Your world tour.
And the fact that your car died right before the battery died. Tell them all about that, because that's pretty impressive what they did for you.
Well,
Yeah.
we got a message on the car that
On the screen in the car.
that we could drive the car, but we needed to take it. It didn't have the range. It's an electric, it's a battery, it's a Tesla, it's a small Tesla. So take it in for service. So we took it in, they said, well, we need to replace the battery. It's under warranty, not a problem. So we took it in middle January, but we were to leave on this trip the 8th of February. And the battery didn't come in from the West Coast. It's from Fremont, where their main factory is.
Harv knows that.
Before it opens in Austin, that is.
Yes.
Anyway, so it didn't come. We had a loaner car. We had the same kind of car as a loaner as our car.
Model 3.
So it didn't come in, and I kept messaging them, listen, we have to leave. And by the 8th of February, we got et cetera. What are you going to do? Well, we'll wait. Hopefully we'll cross that bridge, et cetera, et cetera. So it gets to be the 5th of February. Okay, we got to do something here. So they got permission to let us use their loaner car for 4 weeks as we traveled all over the Southeast, and they paid for the
supercharger.
They paid for the charging. They paid for. So
4,000 miles of
4,000 miles we didn't put on our own car, and it
Incredible.
got the battery in 3 days before we came. We had just visited Tommy and
Jane Ann.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Jane Ann. Oh, Jane Ann.
Anyway, and they
Those
had just
Indiana
put
people.
the battery in then, and we picked it up on the way back to Wisconsin, no problem.
Lucky.
But we were real fortunate. But the fact that they let us use the car before, incredible.
A very good solution to the problem, that's for sure.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Their problem, they could not fix the car, so.
But it sure would have been your problem.
The replacement part, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little uneasy anytime I'm faced with driving a Tesla. I want to know how far away it is so I can make it back. Because I don't know where to take it to charge it all the time.
Oh, there's chargers everywhere. We drove all over 4,000 miles down to South Florida, back up through
Both
West
coasts.
Virginia, through, we
Yes,
were
yeah.
not a problem.
We were
They're
looking
fun
for
to drive though.
if we could set him straight.
No.
We didn't find him.
We didn't find them.
Yeah.
So anyway, it worked out really well. And we didn't have to put 4,000 miles on our own car. That was
Yeah, it's awesome.
Bonus.
Anybody interested in buying a Tesla Model 3? hard to find used
Well,
cars.
it's hard to
as
find,
well
as you know. They're hard to find any kind of car.
You can almost sell a used or previously owned Tesla for close to, if it has fairly low mileage.
Sticker price, yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite as much, but
Then you have to wait maybe a year or two for your
the
replacement.
next one. So it's a dilemma.
It's a strange situation.
So that's our story.
Tommy, I have something to read. It doesn't have to be right now if you're going around the group and talking to everyone that wants to contribute something.
No, go ahead. What you got?
I got an email, and I email with this person on a regular basis, but not all that frequently. I won't tell you his name yet. Maybe some of you sports-oriented guys will know what I'm talking about. And I apologize to those of you who might not be. We've talked about sports a lot today, so please bear with us. It won't take long. This is supposed to remain a secret until it is announced Saturday at halftime of Game 2 in New Orleans, NOLA. I'm sure it will get out by Friday night, however. All who played for me, now there's a clue, were special, but some a little more special than others. Those who have stayed with me all these years, short note to let you know that they have selected me for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame this year.
Awesome.
I am not supposed to say anything, though probably someone will spill it out with, I think it's a misprint here. Anyway, prematurely. I don't know who else is going in myself. I am going to be in as a so-called contributor. This is somebody whose whole life has been basketball. Right. They've contributed in many ways.
But not a player.
But not a player. All over the world, actually, in this case.
Awesome, yeah.
Just wanted you to know ahead, and I thank you for your love and support all these years. Hoping all is well. Coach, anybody want to take it again?
Yeah, Del Harris. Yeah.
Yeah, Del Harris. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Del, Tommy. Yeah.
So I don't know what TV is going to do tonight in the second game of the 2 games this evening. At halftime, this is when Del and others, like I think there are at least 3 or 4 players going in. Ginobili, former San Antonio Spur, I think is one of them. But anyway, so he actually is already in another category. It's the John Bunn B-U-N-N award. I never heard of the person, but and I think that was sort of lifetime achievement in any way that it's been a big deal in basketball. So
who's the West Virginia coach that's going in?
Huggins is going in, yeah.
I think is going as a coach, yeah. So
I wonder if Dell told Ron DeMeo.
Well, Ron is away now. It's too bad that Ron couldn't have lived long enough to see this.
Ron's family, I'm sure I can make them aware to be sure Liz is tuned in. I'll just tell their family that there's an announcement in the second game that they want to have recorded.
I hope so.
And I don't know how long ago Dell knew this, that he was.
I don't think very long ago.
Yeah, so maybe not.
Maybe told Ron. I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Well, I mentioned this to Ron.
Yeah.
Here's again, thank you for putting up with this. One, I wrote back to King. I called him King because this was 67 to 70 at Earlham College. And he was somewhat of a different person by then than he was. He's an ordained minister. And yet, the 3 years I was at Earlham, he would go around with his collar turned up and wearing sunglasses.
He's very Hollywood.
What? Yeah. He said, he even told me once, I'm going to be in LA someday. I thought, I sort of laughed at him. And it turned out
King,
because,
TK.
What's that? Yeah, he was the king of the Lakers in the mid-90s. He was Kobe Bryant's first coach. And he was coach here, I think, in 96. Anyway, wonderful news and congratulations. So happy for you, and especially being included in the Hall of Fame, of course, while you're still around, sometimes.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you put somebody in? Anyway, I would.
Hey, TK, just in a capsule, tell these guys the story about Del Harrison and how that all developed for him to get to the NBA. Just in a capsule.
He started out, I think, in Plainfield. He was a junior high school coach.
But after how to get to the
well, along the way he was at Earlham from 65 to 74, 9 years. Had a high winning percentage and was very successful. I think it proved to him, especially that 67, 68 team. I was a player on that team. But I just been in Vietnam for a couple of years or 1 year and been in the military, and I hadn't touched a ball lately. But it was a great experience. Then from there, he got an opportunity. I bet none of you know this. When Bob Knight applied for the job at IU, Delmer also applied, but he probably had no chance of being selected for that.
Mm-hmm.
So he went from Earlham to, there was an ABA, for you who don't know about, a competing league with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was Utah.
Utah.
Yeah. So he was
And how did
assistant-
he wind up at Utah, Tom? That's
Yeah.
that's a story that's worth telling too.
Yeah. Mhm. And then it folded. 4 teams got absorbed into the NBA. So Delmer is an assistant coach. They fired Tom Nasalki, this guy for whom he was an assistant. And then he got hired as the head coach at Houston. He was successful there. Also coaching Milwaukee.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. So to continue here, but contributor is even better. I was hoping this would happen soon, as I mentioned to Ron. We had Betsy and I,
A year ago.
Ron and Vicky last June, maybe.
Yeah.
Ron invited us to come down and
have
a dinner with him. Bob knows this, others may.
Yeah.
You had 2 choices: a spaghetti dinner or I think it was clam sauce and
Linguine and clams. He was famous for that.
yeah,
Alfredo and clam.
yeah. So Ron agreed at the time that he was hoping this would happen before Delmer left, and unfortunately, Ron died, as you guys know. So I wrote on. I'm almost done. Even at age 77 plus, I feel like it's the 4th quarter, to use some basketball comparisons here. And for you, this June 18th, that's Delmer's birthday, and Betsy wanted me to put, hey, it's Paul McCartney's birthday too.
It's true.
It is. You're right, Betsy.
At 85, that's Dell will be 85 this time.
Yeah.
Maybe it even seems like overtime. So Delmer's told me before, all my friends I knew growing up in high school and college, almost all of them were gone already. So glad it's going to happen. You undoubtedly deserve the recognition for all you've done for the sport, the league, as well as your players at all levels, not only in the USA, but around the world. I hope you hear from many of your supporters, friends, former players, relatives, other coaches. All of us are proud of you and what you've accomplished, King. Wish your mom and dad, they're obviously gone. He's 85. Could be here. I'll be watching. Betsy and I send our love and best wishes. So,
is he in pretty good health, Tom?
I think he's generally been in good health. I've never heard anything to the contrary. Bob, you might know a little more.
I have not. I talked to him, Tom, been a while back, well before you guys were here, but we talked for a couple hours one day and he mentioned nothing about health as far as any flaws or anything like that. Children are all doing well. So one of the great stories that came up, Tom, the last couple of weeks, Scott and I were talking. Delmer and Joyce bought a house on South 14th Street. And he and I and Ron DeMeo, I was working as recreation director, so I had nothing to do in the wintertime. Ron DeMeo was a golf pro living above the pro shop at Glenmore Golf Course with 3 kids.
Yeah.
And Delmer and Joyce had 3 kids at that time. But they had the biggest house. So whenever we decided to party, we went to South 14th Street. And they all had a big console stereo, as you all remember well. And in the back, there were speaker jacks. And they ran a speaker to the front room and a speaker to the kitchen door. And that little house would shake. I mean, it was so. So one of the great stories, Tommy, about Delmer, the neighbors complained and called the police. So Ron and I and Delmer had a little quick team meeting, and we said, hey, let's invite them over. So the next time we had a cookout and a party, the neighbors came over and the deal was over with.
There you go.
Good idea.
Good idea.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just
I was at some of those parties too, so.
Oh, you were there, Rick. You and Sherry were there, I bet. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
Jimmy Hoke, what's happening in Hawaii before we leave?
Hey, everybody, I gotta go. Gotta get dressed and go to dinner, so.
Okay.
Great seeing y'all.
Good to see you, Rick. So you have a great trip at the Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah, have fun.
We will. Thank you.
We're gonna want to hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
All 2
Tom,
days.
before you go to Jimmy real quick,
Yeah.
have you guys ever seen Tom TK, the April Fool's story about Delmer with Mark
No,
Cuban?
I don't remember it anyway.
I'll send it to you. It's
Oh.
a stunt that Mark Cuban pulled with the referee in the
Oh
NBA
my God.
to fool Delmer on April Fool's Day. I got to get it out to you guys. Tom, I'll try to get it to you.
Delmer has
Good.
stories. I need to publish a book of these, but he didn't want to do that.
It is awesome. Yeah.
Well, you guys, I want to get ready for the Final Four now. Jimmy Hope, tell us real quickly about Hawaii.
It finally rained. So, yeah, we haven't had rain. I mean, it's been a desert here. So,
Really?
you know, it doesn't sound like it should be a desert, but it is.
Man.
And so we're getting ready to come back on May 3rd.
Okay.
A
Coming
month.
back to the mainland.
The mainland, yeah. Don't say back to the state. You get corrected.
Yeah.
As I learned when I was there on the way to Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, true. So, yeah, so we're just got more guests coming and
Hawaii.
just
We thought you didn't have room for anybody else.
Yeah, that's what he told us.
Told us.
Yeah.
well, if you come in pairs, if you come in more than pairs, no room.
You know, you guys, I gotta tell you, just something really interesting. You just talked about Hawaii. I have a really quick little story that involves Hawaii.
Okay.
And what had happened is, now this is about my daughter and her daughter Cece, who is a senior in high school in Cincinnati area. Anyway, so this just had happened that they were that senior class decided for their spring break, which is ending today. They come home today. They left on Sunday and they went someplace in Mexico. I can't remember where they were going.
Really?
But anyway, so, and I hadn't heard much about it until Sarah called me before they left. She called me last Friday. No, yes, Friday. This is what had happened. Sarah wanted to make sure that Amelia or Cece, thought there's something that you guys probably all do that fly much. You spend $90 for the year and you get, so you don't have to you don't have to take your shoes off when you go through. You don't have to, I don't know what that's called. But anyway. And Sarah has that, but Cece didn't have it last week. So Sarah, and Sarah's going with her on this thing. So she said, well, you ought to get that. So Cece goes to get it. Now this happened on Thursday, just that many days ago.
Okay.
It happened a week ago, Thursday. So they were supposed to leave then on Sunday. So last Sunday. And so she gets there and the guy will not, he said, your passport is expired.
Oh, geez.
Right. I mean, we're talking like 4 days before they're supposed to take off for Mexico with 50 other kids and all this, the senior party, blah. Okay. You don't, it's expired. That's it. Well, Sarah's telling me this story afterwards and I think, oh my gosh, so what? She said, well, you know, you can get, and you guys that are good travelers probably know this. I didn't know it.
Yeah.
If you have something like, if there's a special way of getting a passport, like and maybe you just had a parent die and you want to get a passport, there's a way of doing that. It's a special hurry up kind of thing, but you have to find where they're available. This is where it was available. There are calls because she has to get it that next day to get her CC's to get this done, or she's going to miss the trip. So she ends up, she got, it was available in Hawaii.
It's our Zoom call.
DC took off for Hawaii to go to this next, I mean, this all happened between Thursday and when I talked to Sarah on.
Are you kidding?
No, when I talked to Sarah on Saturday, just a week ago Saturday, that's the first I hear about it. She's on her way to the Cincinnati airport to pick up Cece, who has just flown back in from Hawaii and had
Oh my-
been there one
Why
night.
didn't you just stay in Hawaii, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
the party and everything paid for is already done in Mexico. I mean,
Okay.
you know, yeah, and my daughter had just come home from Hawaii because with two of her cousins, my brother's two daughters, it was really neat. Those three girls, they had just been in Hawaii for 5 days or something. And now this is a week later, and Sarah's got to get, so she got her there. She said, while she was there, I'm thinking, oh my God, what if this is all a trap for her? You know, she's there 18 all by herself doing this. But she did the thing where you can, and you guys all are going to know this, and I don't get it. But you look from the sky down and to be able to see where this building was, and it was in Hawaii, and she could see that it was a legitimate place, it was a government building. So that made her feel better. But so when I talked to her last Saturday, she's going to pick her up at the airport. The plane's running a little late, but then they took off the next day. I mean, that's how to fly to Mexico. So this all happened from a Thursday to a Sunday.
Wow.
And it worked. And she said she called 3 other places, and there was one in Texas, but they didn't have any openings to get anybody in. I mean, Sarah needed one, and there was one left in Hawaii.
Oh my goodness.
And that's where she went.
Amazing.
So I said to Sarah, you gotta know, Sarah has her real estate company. She gets lots of points because she pays for everything with her cards to get air points, travel points.
Yeah.
So I just said to her, I said, how much did it cost you to get her there? She said, for the first time, I had to come up with some cash. It was $24.30 to get her daughter. She had that many. She had more. She said I was a little short, but she said, yeah. So it's like, you know, it's not like how in God's name would she send her daughter to Hawaii and not think this sounds a bit extravagant, you know, to just get that plane. It's like her points. I mean, you know, and she was down, it cost her $24. Well, she said really it was 23 something, but she said, but they were at the end of my points for a little while because she had just used hers too to get to Mexico and to get CC to Mexico and to get the airline there. But it all worked. So I just thought you guys would find that when someone mentioned Hawaii, that's all I could think, well, it's a little quick trip to Hawaii just because her passport had expired and just to get a new one. And she wouldn't even known it if she wasn't trying to get that other thing done a couple of days ahead. She would have taken that to the airport, that expired passport, and the whole thing would have been shot. So it's like, oh my God, some things work out.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you're my daughter that knows how to figure this stuff out and just goes for it, I mean, it's like, or anyone young, I guess.
Yeah. So let's ask Diane. Diane, were you aware of that? I was not aware of that you could get a passport like that.
Yeah, we use Expediter services all the time.
No kidding.
But they're not just available anywhere or at any time.
Yeah, but no, if you go through Expediter, you can get it right away.
Well, she got it.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
She got it right away.
Wow.
But you
don't have to, mine, you don't have to travel to Hawaii to do it. Just send it to the Expediter and they expedite it, so.
Wow.
That was how it worked.
Well, then she had a great experience that she's going to really remember forever.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
So I did tell you some good news that had happened and when in a really close call, and it was just by minutes each way. If she hadn't had she wouldn't even known that passport was expired because Sarah said, I cannot believe I wasn't checking that hers. And she said, I haven't even looked at mine for a while. They do travel a lot. Anyway.
Now, I'm assuming when she went to Hawaii, it was Oahu. Honolulu?
I don't know. That's where Sarah just stayed.
It would have to be
with
Honolulu.
a couple of friends.
Yeah, it'd have to be
They were in Oahu, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like, but it all worked. But I thought that was like, are you kidding me? You know, it's like, it's a good thing. Yeah, some good things can happen.
Yeah, real quickly, Diane, you and Bob are fine. Everybody's fine.
Oh yeah.
Susie, you're fine. Nothing exciting's happening. Okay.
That can be good.
Well,
TP,
yeah.
I know you're we are running over. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
I don't think we're going to be on next time unless unless the timing would work out, because we'll be in Italy.
Okay.
Oh.
Tell us about it when we
Yeah,
get
yeah, okay.
Where in Italy?
Now, so now you wait until the end of, now you,
Yeah.
so tell us about this.
Yeah.
Nice. Good to see you.
Okay, see you, Christy.
Bye, Christy.
I've
Yeah,
got to
bye.
get
Chrissy.
because I'm getting a phone call from a friend.
Okay.
Right, Sandy.
Bye.
We knew this chef who had lived and grown up in San Francisco, been in the restaurant business forever. So he had a restaurant called Chef's Cafe, just down the street from us, a mile or so. And we used to go there all the time. They even named a sandwich after Andrew when Andrew was 2 months old. He's 35 now. So his name is Michael Tui, and a retired Delta pilot and his wife own I don't know what you'd call it.
A very nice arrangement in the hills of north of Rome, somewhere in a small community north of Rome. And they offer their place, and Michael knows them, to be a place where he had 6 people come together, and Michael is the chef for a
Oh
week.
my gosh.
And we go around the local places. This is Umbria. I don't know.
Umbria, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's what we're going to do for a week.
so it's Betsy and I, Andrew and his wife Hannah, and Nick and Ronnie, who
Some
we've
longtime
known
friends.
since the mid-70s. So we all know each other. That's a real plus for me. And we're going to see Michael. I don't know if Michael's wife Patty is coming along or not. It goes on for a week. You go around in the general area and meet the locals that they know, obviously. Learn all about Italian cooking and wine.
Man, that's going to be fantastic.
Pretty cool.
Most importantly, Michael does the cooking, the chef. That's the most
And we just need
important
it.
part.
Yeah.
So
did you have any trouble? What airline are you flying and all of that? Were you going through?
It's Lufthansa, and I don't know yet what their requirements. It's a month from now what they'll require to get on the plane. So I don't know.
Okay.
Out of Chicago. It's a nonstop to Munich. We're gonna stop there with Andrew and Hannah and then fly down to Italy.
Cool.
That sounds like a wonderful trip.
So you don't, at this point, you don't know if they have any requirements to like have a negative test before you.
They do at the moment. Yeah, they do right now, but I don't,
So we're on it.
we'll just have to
pay attention.
We have to pay attention, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew and Hannah have an extra bedroom, but it's not for us. It's for a Ukrainian woman who fled Ukraine and staying with them now for till further.
Hey, you guys, I'm just going to go away. You can keep talking, but I've got Kristen Alter on the phone here. I'm going to talk to her.
I'm gonna run too.
All right.
I see her.
See you guys.
Hi,
guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you all next month, maybe. There's Jane Ann.
Jim?
I've been feeding my feral cat outside and it started raining and it took off.
Hey, Jim?
Yeah.
I want to let you know that I really enjoyed your last 2, since we weren't on the last time. Your
Right.
last 2, I particularly liked, there were 3 women in the Irish folk
Yeah.
song. I really, really loved that.
It was Mary Black.
Yeah.
And Emmy Lou Harris.
Yeah.
Somebody else I didn't know. Yeah.
And the other one I didn't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I did want to.
That's great. Thanks for that.
Yeah. So I'm going to put out just one this next month because I'm going to be just way too busy.
I bet. Mm-hmm.
And I got 2 recommendations for those of you who are still here for TV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One is called Astrid.
Astrid.
It's a French series, mystery series, but it involves a autistic young woman who is an expert criminologist
Wow.
because she works in the criminology library in France. And she reads all the cases, and she has this ability to take all the data and remember it and put the pieces together.
Sort of like a savant in this one narrow
It's a
area.
savant in criminology. And it's
Wow.
really good. I mean, it's really, really well done to show the person who plays this person is not autistic. So she had to learn how autistic people, you know, view the world and react to the world. And I mean, I've never been around too many autistic people, but it's got to be, it's really eye-opening because it's really well done. The stories are well written, and they develop her character very well. I mean, she's very believable. And then there's I guess it's on Prime now. Oh, by the way, Astrid is on Prime. It's one season right now, but there's another one out there, season 2. And Astrid is Astrid de Roger or something like that. It's not just Astrid. There's a bunch of Astrids out there.
Not Astrid Gilberto?
No, yeah, right. So anyway, and then Shetland. Shetland is it's filmed in on the Shetland Islands.
Okay.
And it's a mystery series. There's a set base of cast. And again, well-written stories. And, you know, you get the flavor of the place because, I mean, it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
To the far north of the British Isles. Their closest neighbors are Norway.
Really?
And, you know, they're on the North Sea. Yep. And I mean, it's very good. And it's got like 5-6 seasons now.
Oh, good.
So start at the beginning of that one, you know, work your way forward. So yeah, those two.
Were you researching, Jim, or did they just show up and you thought, oh, let me check?
You know, every now and then, I mean, when we have visitors, right now we have my sister-in-law here. And so in the evening, the tradition, yeah, we got the animals on.
Yeah, it's animal time. Yeah, they want some love.
Yeah, there's my animal back here.
Okay.
So we have this, you know, we find good stuff to watch.
Yeah, sounds like
I do the research to make sure, you know, there's so much out there and so much of it is questionable.
Overwhelming, actually, if you're.
Yeah.
We watch 3 minutes of a lot of things.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so that's my recommendation.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Jane Ann, is Tom talking to?
Good to see y'all. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Connie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking on the phone.
Is that?
Yeah, you won't be there for a while.
Is that Diane Alter's daughter that he's talking to?
Frank Alder's daughter.
Frank Alder.
Frank's daughter.
Yeah.
It's the one that has legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Have fun in Italy.
Good for this time. We'll try to check in with you guys.
Yes.
But I don't.
Yeah, give us a call from Italy. Huh?
Yes, please.
Might be late, but we'll see.
Sounds like a great time. Have a great time.
Might be a little tipsy or.
Okay.
Well, I hope so.
You guys. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
I don't have to.
Leave.
Okay.